It...
You know?
Yeah, I guess I'm done.
Just a bit.
Hello. You're listening to Just a Big Gaming. I'm your host, Ryan Chumpy Crash Reynolds.
Whoop! Whoops. I got excited there. Sorry.
And this is your other more handsome host, Adrian Bertazoid Townsend.
Whoop! Dude, I'm excited to record tonight, if you can't tell.
I'm excited to record tonight too. So excited we skipped a tagline.
Whoops, I cut you off.
Welcome to Luigi's funeral.
Pretty much, man.
Yeah, Luigi fucking died today.
R.I.P. Luigi. R.I.P.
Miss you and your death stare.
I do love that death stare.
Who doesn't though? Everybody loves a good Luigi death stare.
Yeah, man, he's a good character, and I'm really sad to see him go.
You know, Kotaku wrote an obituary for him today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, except they referred it's the article the obituary said that he is survived by his twin brother Mario and his son Waluigi.
What?
Yeah, Kotaku called Waluigi Luigi's son. And Kotaku, since I know your entire staff obviously listens to this show, I'm calling you out. You need to fix your boy.
Yeah, that's
Clone at best, not son.
not son, no.
I don't think there's any established backstory for Waluigi.
As far as I know, nah. Waluigi gets a lot of love.
Waluigi.
And I don't get it. Like,
he gets what?
A lot of love. On the internet.
It's a cult following. Like,
yeah, it's really weird.
It's a meme culture thing.
Okay. He's not a particularly great character. I would choose Wario over Waluigi any day.
Well, Wario is the OG of those cloned up baddies. Actually, Waluigi didn't show up until like I think Mario Tennis.
Mario Tennis, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
just so Luigi would have a baddie counterpart. Yeah.
Well, Wario has those Wario Land games that I freaking love.
Those games were rad, dude.
Man,
I loved those games.
They really were. Also the WarioWare games, have you played those?
Maybe.
The ones that have really weird.
I don't recall specifically.
They have like it's like really weird games where you have to do something really fast, like milk a cow or some shit. You know, like just really, really quick games, and if you miss, then you get like an X on you or something like that until it's like a puzzle game.
And I hate my X's.
X's and O's.
X's in the you know that song's about orgasms.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is it? You didn't know that?
No, I don't like that song.
I think it's kind of fun. That's one of those songs that when I'm by myself in the car, I turn it up and just sing as loud as I fucking can.
And give yourself an orgasm.
Dude, I mean, seriously. I've been known to hit the rumble seat as it were. as it were.
So Nintendo Direct happened today.
What a segue. Well, we're talking about orgasms and rumble seats. I watched some Nintendo shit today.
Man, that was a good Direct.
It was a good Direct.
I wasn't expecting much, but I feel like we got a pretty decent Direct.
Some arguments are being made that the Direct itself was, I guess, theoretically lacking in content.
I would disagree.
Just because 2 or 3 of the characters that they announced are technically reskins of existing characters.
Yes, I would say yes. I mean, 3 of them technically.
Right. And so there's been some arguments being made that like, well, it was a decent Direct. There's too much hype being based around a few of the characters because they're just technically reskins. But I mean, come on, for fuck's sake, they're cartoon characters that you play on the screen. Who gives a shit if it's a reskin?
I do. I like original, and well, let's say who the characters are so we can talk about which ones are reskins. So you've got the big one, one of the big ones. You have Castlevania characters in a Smash Brothers game, which is freaking amazing to me.
Now, okay, I'm a little confused about that. I didn't catch the whole thing. Are they injecting Castlevania characters into Super Smash Brothers, or are they doing a Super Smash Brothers Castlevania like pack?
It's not a pack. It's going to be part of the game.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so these are
they pitched it as like extraneous, as almost like a DLC.
no
with
no
the logo they threw up there.
The logo was I
was
think that's a
misleading.
weird Japanese thing where they do the cross.
Well, I mean, like, I'm into like tennis shoes, and like the last episode we talked about Adidas Dragon Ball Z pack.
Right.
It's Adidas X Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
Or like Justin Timberlake just released a new Nike Air Air Jordan 3, I think. And they're pretty rad if you want to know the truth. Justin Timberlake has some real steez on him. But aside from all that, it's the Air Jordan X Justin Timberlake collection. And so it's generally denoted for a collaboration,
It's a crossover.
Yeah, a crossover.
So the X denotes crossover. And I've noticed a lot with Japanese trailers when they're doing these crossovers, they'll always do a white screen, logo, X, other logo.
Well, all right.
And it's that was what they did here. They did Smash Brothers X Castlevania. And the big surprise was we have Simon Belmont and Richter Belmont. And Simon is he's an old school Castlevania character. If you played the old Nintendo Castlevanias, he was a main character. In I believe 1 and 2, or maybe just 2. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I love Castlevania, but I'm not like a diehard fan that knows everything.
Well, let me finish writing this down so I can quote you.
And then Richter,
and
who
Castlevania sucks nut.
Oh, I love
bag.
Castlevania.
All right. So did you prefer nut sack or nut bag that it sucks in your quote?
Nut.
Ball bag. We're going with ball bag.
Okay.
Castlevania sucks ball bag. Signed Adrian Townsend. All right.
Not true. Not true. Having Richter is really cool. So Richter, I know from which one is he? Castlevania X, maybe? Is where he started, but everybody really knows him from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The big one on the PS1 and Sega Saturn. That was the first Castlevania game that I really loved. But it's so cool because he has his dash and flip moves that he does in the game, and he can do those in this game as well. And they also announced Alucard as a special assist trophy, which kind of sucks. I would like to play as Alucard. Alucard to me is one of the bigger characters I think would be really cool in that game. But
Alucard, that's that band that sings about the Ocean Avenue and I Can Feel You Breathing.
That's a yellow card.
No. So there's a yellow card trophy.
There's a yellow Alucard trophy.
Hell yeah. Trophy. I can't wait to get my Hoobastank achievement.
They basically, Richter and Simon are kind of reskins of each other. They both use a whip. They both have the same like special abilities or similar special abilities. But that was a huge announcement. Another one is Crom from Fire Emblem, which
until today
me.
I always thought it was pronounced Chrome.
Crom. In the game they call him Crom.
I always thought it was Chrome. I've also never played Fire Emblem. So
it's funny. I'd say a lot of people haven't played Fire Emblem, yet Smash Brothers is riddled with Fire Emblem characters. There's got to be, at this point with Crom, there's got to be like 6 or 7 Fire Emblem characters in those games.
I mean, it must be like a what's the word I'm looking for? No. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a metrics? I
don't know. Fire Emblem is really popular in Japan. I know that much. And I think that's where it comes from. It's popular here, but it's not nearly as popular as it is there. So you got Crom. Crom, to me, okay, the Fire Emblem Awakening was the first one on the 3DS. That is what really, I think, put Fire Emblem on the map for a lot of people. Crom was the main character in that game. And it always was weird to me that they didn't put him into Smash Brothers. They had 6 different characters in Smash Brothers, but not Crom. And it always seemed really weird to me.
Must have been public outcry.
It had, well, isn't that what they said? Public outcry? Or
must have been public outcry.
So they finally put him in, and I think that's cool. I'll play with Chrome. But they also did Dark Samus. I'm not excited about Dark Samus at all.
Hey, see, that's what I was talking about, you know, with the reskins thing. Is I dig a good reskin, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, it just looks the same, but it doesn't. You know, but you've got to be of that mindset. There are people that dig reskins and people that don't.
I wouldn't even call it a reskin. It's just a recolor.
No, it's a reskin. The details are all different of the suit.
Well, I guess it had like veiny looking things coming off.
Yeah, there's like
organisms
along like it looked more organic than the Samus suit. And like the edges had like organic kind of gill shaped scalloping marks, and the emblem on the chest was different. And you know, I think it's cool. I dig a good reskin, but my argument against that is I don't feel that a technical reskin should be announced as a separate character. You know?
Yes, I agree, because
Like,
that's more of a I mean,
because some people give a shit about reskins, some people don't give a shit about reskins. Everybody gives a shit about a new character, and it's kind of misleading to announce. Even with Simon and Richter, they're gonna play the same.
Yeah, they will.
Like,
it would have been better to have like Simon and Alucard, because they're not going to play the same.
Right.
Alucard has a whole host of abilities that he could do. His transformation, he could turn into like a wolf and a bat and different stuff like that.
Maybe that's why Alucard isn't on there.
Because it would be too much.
Maybe there'd be like an advantage to playing with that character.
I don't know.
Kind of like playing with Kirby.
There would be an advantage to playing with a lot of characters. They all have their special abilities that make them seem overpowered.
Maybe that's like a sleeper. Maybe at some point they'll announce Alucard as like an unlockable character. Maybe the Alucard trophy is a playable character
that they unlock later with DLC.
Yeah.
I'll pay for it.
I didn't mean to spoil it, but I work for Nintendo.
And the big one at the end that I'm actually really excited for.
Yeah, King K. Rool.
Yeah, man, isn't that cool?
Man, I was so stoked. Like, you were showing me the others, and I've never played Fire Emblem.
It's K. Rook.
K. Rool.
Is it Rool? I thought it was Rook.
I think it's
like his name is
R-O-O-L.
King Crook.
I thought it was King Cruel.
Man, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Get on your Google machine. I was kind of like, okay, well, this is neat. I was stoked about the Samus reskin, or new Samus character, whatever. But
you're right. It's K. Rool.
I'm about the King K. Rool announcement.
So King Cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it was like a play on words, some sort of way.
Yeah, because his last name is technically King Rule, which, you know, he's the ruler. But if you put the K in there, it's King Cruel.
Gotcha.
I don't mean to blow your mind. my linguistic sciences, but
so King K. Rool is from the Donkey Kong Country series. He's the main baddie.
And what a fun trailer for his announcement too.
It was.
That was pretty.
Both of them really.
Cool. I mean, yeah.
The Luigi death.
The Luigi death was crazy.
That was a creepy, like, so un-Nintendo thing, but so fitting for Castlevania.
Right. It was a very creative crossover.
I loved it.
Because I thought they were announcing a new Luigi's Mansion.
That's what it looked like, yeah.
I thought that's what
or
was
maybe
happening.
Luigi wearing his, making Luigi like a reskin with his, like they did with Dr. Mario in the other Smash Brothers. They had a Dr. Mario. So I thought they were going to have a Luigi's Mansion variation of Luigi in this new one.
Right.
The way they led off.
Well, and maybe they will.
Yeah, they still
will at some point. Or Ghost Luigi.
But they took the trailer.
Luigi? No, that's the one that's in rehab.
The trailer has Death from Castlevania come in, and Luigi's got his ghost vacuum, and he's, cleaning up ghosts. And then Death just comes over there and
hits him with the scythe.
Kills him.
Pulls his soul.
Freaking soul out.
Clean out of his little Luigi body.
Oh, man.
What was that big mask in the window at the end, though?
I don't know. So I'm not sure where... That's a Castlevania thing, obviously. It is in the Castlevania stage.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure which game that comes from. But yeah, when at the end of the trailer, after they announced the characters, Luigi's soul is trying to go back into his body, and his body's just laying there with his white eyes and just death.
Just being dead.
Oh, it was so creepy.
Just being fucking dead. It's so rad, though.
And so Luigi's his spirit is trying to go back into his body, and at the same time, this mask is looking through the window, and it's got like purple blood or something coming down its eye.
Yeah, it's creepy as hell.
And it scared Luigi, scared me, scared everybody. But On the King K. Rool trailer, that one was also really cool. How did that one go? Like it was.
It was Diddy and Donkey hanging out in their hut,
Yeah.
watching TV, being bored, and Diddy's like kind of hanging out on a tire swing. Donkey Kong scratching his butt, eating a banana, watching TV. And then there's
that's the life, man.
Boom, and it shakes their house. And then they both go plaster themselves to the window, and this big K. Rool shaped shadow shows up. And then what's the penguin character's name?
DDD.
DDD. DDD rips off this shroud, and he's like laughing at him and bouncing around partying because he scared the shit out of him.
You think that it's King K. Rool that's going to be the new character, and then you see DDD bounce around like he played a trick on him. So you're like, what is this weird?
And then King K. Rool comes out from behind the trees and fucking cold cocks DDD in the side of the head, knocks him out of the picture, and then slaps his belly, and he's like, "Ugh." And then it makes the announcement, King K. Rool joins the battle. It was a really rad announcement.
It was
a good direct. All things considered.
The cool thing with the gameplay footage that they showed of K. Rool, he's huge. Like he is bigger than Bowser.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. And he's got like a golden chest that I thought was really cool.
It's on the saucy end of things.
I'm actually excited to give him a shot. I like bigger characters in those Smash Brothers games.
I'm just saying, he looks handsome.
He does.
King K. Rool.
Yeah. So another thing that they announced is all the different maps. They're going to have over 100 maps, which is awesome. And they're going to have crossover maps. So while I think they called it merge or something like that. So you will be playing on a map and then it will transition into a different map.
That's cool.
It was cool.
I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, that was done towards the end. But they also announced that there's going to be over 800 tracks from all the different games, music tracks.
And if you count menu songs and fanfares,
over 900.
It's over 900.
So they immediately follow that up with, you could create your own custom tracks or whatever. Playlists.
Yeah, dude.
And then it shows this woman plugging her headphones into her Switch and sliding the Switch into her purse while it's just dead silence. First of all, the trailer is dead silence. She puts the headphone jack in and then she puts the earbud in her ear. And then you hear this like real cheery kind of Smash Brothers music. And she's just sitting there with this like relaxed look on her face and she slides the Switch into her purse. I was like, the whole thing looks so ridiculous, man. It would just crack me up. And it's like, yeah, now you can create playlists and listen to your music in sleep mode on your Switch. Who the hell is going to do that? Nobody.
I suggested they just create a new music app and call it Smashify, but then I think that's actually probably already a hookup app.
That's a good hookup app name. I like it.
Would you swipe past me on Smashify?
I'd swipe left. Is that the good way or don't know? I've never used Tinder.
Oh, well. Would you be swiping to accept or decline?
Probably to decline.
Oh, man.
You're not my type. Sorry.
That sucks. What am I not?
Your boobs aren't big enough.
Yeah, I'm lacking. I know this. It's all right. I've come to terms with it.
So the thing that is cool though is these tracks are cool. I love the music from these games, especially when they started playing that Castlevania music.
But do you love it enough to pop those earbuds in and spend your day on them?
Yes.
Really? Dude, okay, so you're making fun of this shit, but you're also
I'm making fun of the fact that they're using the Switch as a Walkman. I would rather have these tracks
with just Smash Brothers music.
Yeah, I would rather have this music on a playlist on my phone. Right. I would totally listen to it.
I bet you can find that shit on Spotify, dude.
No, Spotify sucks when it comes to video game music.
Aww.
They don't have officially licensed stuff. It's usually fan recreations, which is still not bad, but I want the original stuff.
Right.
I'm a big fan of video game music. I am not, it's not beyond me to be sitting at work and having soundtracks on YouTube playing on my headphones while I'm working. It helps me. Like it doesn't have lyrics, first of all. And that style of music can put me in a frame of mind that helps me be more creative. As odd as that may sound, it really helps the creative
juices. It puts me in a
juices.
very deadly frame of mind.
What do you mean?
I am much better with my special moves and magic casting, my tactile thinking. I'm a better fighter when I listen to that music.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
like if I'm walking down the street with my Switch in my pocket and my headphones plugged in, bop into some Smash Brothers
Dude.
music, you know I'm looking for a brawl. I'm in street tough mode and I'm trying to tussle, son.
You might have a melee with somebody.
I might have a melee with somebody.
So I mean, yeah, I could just see somebody with their Switch up on their shoulder, pumping their Smash Brothers music. In all honesty, though, they also announced that they're putting all the music tracks on their website. I went to the website and started listening to some of the tracks that are up there now. They are like really, really great reorchestrated pieces or remixed pieces of music from the different games that they pull from, which is awesome to me. I love that stuff. So yeah, I am excited for the new music. I just wish that I had a different way to listening to it other than on my Switch.
It makes you wonder if now that they're launching that initiative, if they're gonna start putting out soundtracks to different games, or like adding to that idea.
Yeah, they could, and I would totally buy.
Or maybe they'll start putting some really decent like gaming podcasts on there.
Oh man, yeah, I know of one.
I don't. You'll have to cue me in.
Okay, I'll tell you after the show.
There's one I listen to that's just hot garbage.
So, in other news, man, this is a big hit to me. Nintendo is suing ROM internet websites, basically.
Hey, Adrian, what's a ROM?
I'm glad you asked. So, a ROM is it's basically a digital copy of old video copy.
It's the hip hop version of the game.
Yeah.
Digital copy.
It's a digital copy of a game that is, like old games. Like when people go on and they play on their emulator on their computer, the games that you play are typically called ROMs. So
or like when you homebrew a Wii. Are those
those are all ROMs.
Those would be ROMs, correct?
Unless it's disc based. If it's a disc based game, then it's called an ISO or an ISO.
Man, if we had a blog, I would write a post about this called "Writing the ROMs." Two ROM turns don't make a right.
So they
if nothing else, there's an episode name.
Yeah, there you go. So Nintendo is going after some websites that distribute these ROMs, and they're typically older games. Almost always they're older games that aren't in production anymore. Nintendo has been redistributing some of these games digitally, but not with the Switch. They haven't done any of this with the Switch yet. So
if loving you is ROM, I don't want to be right.
Oh, great. We got you in the what is that called? What is the term for creating words like that?
The pun. I'm in a pun mindset right now.
Yeah. So yeah, it's disappointing to hear.
Right.
Especially for someone like me. I mean,
I feel like
I'm no stranger to emulation.
Why are they deciding to now? It's not like they're losing money as a result of
Honestly, I think it's because of the popularity of the NES Classic and the SNES Classic.
Oh, because they're relaunching old titles.
They are.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
But I mean, it's not hurting their business even a little bit. It's not hurting
their business.
And most people who download these ROMs, well, the people who won't be downloading these ROMs are the people who are buying those. The majority of the public will not be downloading these ROMs. What it is it's a way for people to kind of archive old games that could be lost forever, because Nintendo doesn't own the rights to every single game that was published on their system.
These ROM websites, it's not like they're charging for the.
They're not
for the files, are they? So they're not making anything off it. It is just a cultivation of these old files.
And most of these publishers are not. They're not putting out these games anymore. They're not making money. So in order for somebody to play, let's say, like, I don't know, Hagane, which is a really expensive Sega Genesis game. So somebody wants to play, or no, Super Nintendo. I'm sorry, Super Nintendo game. If somebody wants to play Hagane, they're gonna have to pay like upwards of $200 to $300 to play this game.
Oof.
And it doesn't go to the publishers. It doesn't go to anybody. It goes to the secondhand market, whoever owns that copy. So when you can download the ROM and play it on your computer, what's wrong with that? Why is it that they are taking that away from people? I don't know. It's not a good idea to me, and it kind of irritates me. I see where they're coming from, and I understand that they want to redistribute their older games, but they're not redistributing all of their games. And so people are hurting from this. And the thing is I obviously I own a lot of classic games, but there's some games that I want to try out that I've never tried before. And I know that I'm never going to be able to play it unless I pay these ridiculous prices for it. So I will get online on one of my favorites, Emuparadise, and download it and play it.
What do you think the chances are Nintendo is doing this to gear up to launch their own digital?
Well, I know they're going to be
ROM-based library.
I doubt they'll do that. I really doubt they'll do that.
I don't know. Like, what do they gain out of shutting this other shit down if it's not to build something of their own?
Maybe. I mean, you could be right. I mean, they are. I know Nintendo is shocked by the popularity of these NES and SNES classics and how much they've sold.
If they want to be
maybe
fucking
they
shocked,
are.
I don't think we've obviously never said it before, but they need to release an N64 classic. I don't think I've said it more than 1 or 2 or 7 episodes, but
well, yeah, and
that's
I'm
when
sure
they'll be shocked at sales.
But the thing is I know that it's very likely that they are going to try to redistribute these games in other ways. They are seeing that there is a market for them. So I think you're right. I think they are going after these websites because of that reason. But there's a lot of games that they don't own the rights to that they shouldn't be shutting down. So Emuparadise is one of my favorite ones. It's my usual go-to. Emuparadise just removed all of their ROMs off their website. You can still get emulators and stuff, but you can't get ROMs there anymore.
It's a bummer.
That sucks. They haven't been sued yet, but they're doing it preemptively to prevent themselves from being sued in the future.
Well, I mean, what would you do?
I would do the same thing.
Right.
I would do the same thing. Because these lawsuits are for a ridiculous amount of money, man. It's stupid. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It makes me want to go out and find all these ROMs myself and keep them for myself. So that way, if something
You
does
should start
happen,
collecting what you can while those sites are still up. Really.
Exactly. And I'm not a supporter of piracy at all, but it's not a bad idea to keep these games archived if the companies aren't going to do it for us.
You got to fight for your right to party, dude.
Exactly.
This is the Royal Rumble.
You got any more?
I don't think so. Just know that if one strikes me, I'll just spit it
Okay.
out. It'll be an arbitrary fact of the night.
All right. Well, next topic.
That was a terrible fucking segue.
Dude, you know me. I don't segue well.
We need to just have a mashup of all of your bad segues. All right,
Maybe,
well.
Do you want me to give you like
moving on?
You want me to give you like one of these or something? Say, hey, move it. Segue. You can't see me. I'm waving my hands.
You need to start giving me you need to point at the next topic and then just give me 20 seconds.
Slap you on the face. You know what I hate?
Well, you were just saying you hate plagiarism so much.
You're supposed to say, no. What?
Adrian fucking hates plagiarism.
Dude, I hate theft. I hate when people steal things.
It's like
when
we were doing Tenpenny and that guy stole your
exactly
your Rumble illustration.
Yeah. So
tried to pass it off as his own.
There is nothing that pisses me off more than theft. And when somebody steals something from somebody else, especially when it's something creative, like a piece of artwork or a script or a review in this case, it really irritates me, pisses me off, and I wish nothing but the worst for the person that stole it. And I'm obviously losing their jobs and whatever else. I mean, that comes in order.
Like dying.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm not that upset about it.
You didn't mean the worst then. Sorry. Fuck me, right? I'm the bad one. I'm the bad guy again. So IGN posted this review of a game called Dead Cells. for the Switch. And what was the name of the guy that they copied it from a YouTuber? What was his name?
Boomstick Gaming.
Boomstick Gaming. Like, what would you? I mean, you'd call him a small time YouTuber, right? What, 11,000 followers?
He had 11,000 followers when this whole ordeal happened.
He's got like 45 now, I think. 44, 45.
Yeah, he has 44,000 as of this recording.
That's crazy.
In 24 hours.
That's crazy.
It's nuts. But what happened with this guy is he posted a video basically comparing his video review to IGN's video review.
And it was incredible.
Like,
it was almost verbatim.
It was verbatim. Like, a lot of it was.
They just reversed. It's like it looked like a seventh grader copying a Wikipedia article and swapping it into fucking Yoda talk. You know?
Or no. The guy, the reviewer on IGN who did the video he sounded like a freaking Disney Channel style, like, voiceover or something like that. It was disgusting.
It was stupid, and all he did was move some of the words around as though that's going to protect you from plagiarism.
He moved some of the words around, but there were certain parts,
like certain descripters that were obvious,
like exactly verbatim, word for word, the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. And it's not something like this does not happen by coincidence. He didn't just happen to come up with these descriptive text or these descriptive words or these sentences.
No. Well, did you see that another YouTuber or someone online went back through this guy's IGN reviews and found another one?
Not IGN. This is his first review to do for IGN.
It was whenever he worked for he did a FIFA review.
Okay.
That was plagiarized off someone else's channel that this person found. And so like they ended up finding several instances over the years of just shameless plagiarism and exploitation of these small-time YouTubers and reviewers.
That is insane to me, man. It really blows me away. So first of all, Boomstick Gaming, he released his review last week. And the IGN review came up a week later. So not only is it word for word, but it also came up a week earlier. But it's so weird to me. How did somebody get employed by IGN? How did somebody? I mean, maybe it's his voice. Maybe he's really good at plagiarizing. I don't know, man.
It's because he has a staff of writers called YouTube.
Yeah, it is. It blows me away. And here's the thing that irritates me the most. This guy has obviously been doing this, making a career out of this, and it's just now getting caught.
You know, it probably happened once, like he was late on a deadline and was like, oh shit, I didn't play this game. So he gets on YouTube looking at reviews like, oh yeah, that's good. That's a good damn review.
Or maybe he didn't even play the damn game.
And so then he took some notes down and then went to record his review and was like, I'll just read off my notes.
Yeah.
And then he did, and everyone was like, hey, Dan or Phil or fucking
Philip. His name's Philip.
His name is Philip.
Yeah.
That was a guess. I never looked at his name.
Good guess.
And they were like, hey, dude, that was a good review.
Yeah.
Would you like to do more? And he's like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. And so then he started subscribing. This is all my guess.
Right.
And I know it's getting wildly large at this point. I'm running close to off of context, but this is how I believe it happened. Is he probably did one and then, got patted on the back by bigwig up the hall and then was like, you know what? Theft is good.
Yeah, it works for me.
Theft is a good color on me, better than plaid.
I don't understand how he thought he wouldn't get caught. How would you
just that because he didn't get caught. That's exactly how he thought he wouldn't because he
when
hadn't.
You were doing a review for a site like IGN, one of the biggest video game reviewing websites, YouTube channels there is, how can you expect that people will not catch on to that? And the thing that's funny is the person that caught on to it is the person who obviously wrote the original review. If somebody if I did a review on a game, I'm going to be curious to see what other reviewers have to say about the same game that I reviewed. So I'm going to watch their videos. And
especially
I know what he did.
Source like IGN.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he was watching that review and being like, I wrote this. You know what you write,
right.
That stays with you. Oh my gosh, I could only
Well, and
imagine how
even
angry he got.
the original guy, he said, I'm paraphrasing. This isn't a direct quote, but he said something to the effect of, it's not that I necessarily like would want it taken down or you know want the person fired or take legal action or anything like that. It's just like if they liked my review and they liked the stuff I'm doing, I
Yeah,
would have liked credit for it or like a co-writing credit or a
something.
collaboration opportunity, something like that. Something that all he wants, if they're gonna steal his fucking work, is to just put the brakes down for a sec and maybe instead be offered an opportunity to further his career in
Yeah.
what he's trying to do.
But the thing is this guy who plagiarized, obviously anybody who steals anything is a selfish person, and obviously they're not going to think about things like that.
Right.
But what infuriates me even more is you go to his Twitter channel, and his posts, his last post, one of them says how excited he is about this review that he wrote, and he can't wait to share it with everybody. And it's like, how can you be so freaking stupid?
No, it's not stupidity, it's confidence.
Oh my gosh, man!
Yeah. It's
It's
confidence.
insane. Well,
I know people like that.
the bright side to this whole entire story is that IGN did go back and they did review the situation, and they compared his review to Boomstick Gaming's review, and in that same day they took down the review and they fired the guy that wrote it.
And that guy's
He will
career
never. He's
is
done.
done.
He's done.
Not like James Gunn, who's getting a bunch of offers now from others. Well, allegedly getting a bunch of offers from other
Oh, I'm
studios.
sure he is.
I don't want to go into that again. But I mean,
He's
he's
done.
done. He's done.
As far as his video game career is concerned, he will never get a job in the industry again.
Yeah.
That is like a huge black flag. Yeah, and it's deserving. That is what he deserves. That's what should come to him. It just blows me away.
Red flag.
Oh, thank you.
Huge red flag.
Thank you.
I was thinking about Assassin's Creed for a second. That's why it took me so long. As you said that, I was like, Assassin's Creed.
When I said it, it's funny. I said it and I was like, that's probably not right, but whatever. I'm going with it.
I was like, Assassin's Creed, Henry Rollins Jr. of punk rock royalty. That's not right, Adrian. It's not right.
And the other bright side to this whole story is Boomstick Gaming got a huge spike in subscriber count.
Man,
He's doing good. He's doing good. So
yeah, and that's just the type of publicity spike you need to like turn from like a small time YouTuber to like a career.
absolutely.
So I mean, good on you, Boomstick. I hope you hear this at some point and understand that we're in your corner with it. And great.
He's a big time YouTuber now, man.
He's a big time. He's not gonna listen to some squat bullshit like us.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, good for him overall that he wrote good enough stuff that people would want to steal his work.
Yeah. That's got to be at the very least, it's got to be kind of inspiring or encouraging, I guess.
Right, and then all the support that he's receiving, 33,000 subscribers worth of support.
Man, I wish that would have happened to me when I got my illustration stolen on Instagram.
We were really low key about how we handled that, though.
I was so pissed off, but at the same time, I was a little bit flattered. You got to admit, like, I was really pissed at this. Basically, I posted an illustration that I made on Instagram. A guy stole it, posted it on his, didn't credit me, didn't say anything about it, and claimed it as his own.
Yeah.
Man, that pissed me off. So I contacted him, and luckily he was really cool about it and took it down and apologized, and that was the last I ever heard of it. So
you remember when I used to design clothing and shirts and stuff?
Yeah.
Last week I saw someone from my past wearing one of my old designs on Instagram and taking credit for the design.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. This is recent. You never told me about this one.
This was like last week.
Wow.
I don't really want to go into it because I don't know how much of a shit I actually give, but
it's still it's enough to piss you off. It definitely is.
And it wasn't enough to piss me. It was just like, whatever, fucking whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Man, bad transition. I beat Resident Evil 7 finally. I went back to Resident Evil 7 after a year of not playing that game, and I can tell you why I stopped. When I got that game, I got it from my PlayStation VR, and I started playing it in VR, and it scared the crap out of me, man. Talk about immersive, being stuck in this really creepy house with these really creepy people trying to kill you in VR is terrifying. That's what made me stop playing it. And then at that time, other games popped up, and I just kind of let it go to the wayside. Well, I got to thinking, like, we started making a list of games that we started but one didn't finish and want to go back to. So I went back to this game and started playing it again, and I got deeply involved with it to the point where I beat it in just like 2 nights. That's how invested I got into this game. And it was it was an amazing game. I want to just to touch on some of the high points of the story. I'm not going to give a full on review or anything, but man, the atmosphere, the characters is terrifying. Like, you've got this family of crazed, psychotic individuals who basically can't be killed. They're infected with some kind of disease where they can be cut up and chopped up and whatever else, and they can come back for whatever reason. I guess it's spoiler territory. I don't know, but they behave like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre style family, where you got these really crazy, like, psycho serial killers and stuff. And when you're going through this house, you can find old documents and old newspaper clippings and stuff detailing what this family has done to other people.
Mm.
So you're trying to figure out, first of all, you're scared out of your wits. You're there to try to find your girlfriend. You're scared out of your wits because you don't know what's going on and why these people are out to get you. But at the same time, it's it's intriguing because you want to find out what's going to happen next. And so that kept me going through the game, and I was super intrigued by the story and the characters and everything. But um as you progress, like, that whole atmosphere, that whole style is like a really well done horror movie. And then about midway through the game, it has a huge tonal shift. Like, it goes from like this horror game to more of an action oriented game. You start getting a lot more ammo and different guns, like powerful
Does it
guns.
become less scary at that point?
Yeah, it does. It loses that horror element. Maybe it's a little bit more than halfway. I'd say it's about 60 to
I wonder
70% through.
if that shift is more to signify, like, I mean, you can be in a scary situation, and then once your adrenaline starts to kick in, it's kind of like a drug, and your mind shifts in a scary situation once your adrenaline starts pumping and you start kind of going into that fight or flight mechanism, and things become less scary and it becomes more oriented in like the fight through this, survive through
I
this
It
type of
does
thing.
do that. Like,
So
the game
maybe,
does do
yeah,
that.
maybe that's the shift is to signify like that shift from scared to, fight or flight, turning into like a figurative action hero getting the fuck out of there.
Yes, you're right. And that's the direction the game kind of takes. The problem I have with that is, to me, the game, it kind of falters. It kind of, like, it loses me a little bit. Like, I still wanted to know what the hell was going on and why these people are this way, which kept me going. But you get to the point where the atmosphere changes. You're no longer in this creepy environment that you're wanting to figure out what the hell's going on in the swampland with this house. Now you're in a whole different environment, and you're in a whole different, you're fighting same enemies, but different environment. And it just, now your character goes from somebody who's vulnerable to somebody who can basically annihilate anybody he wants. He's got so much arsenal, weapons,
Right,
and
right.
ammo, like this survival mode, I guess. But to me, the thing is, it actually goes from a really creepy horror movie to your stereotypical Resident Evil, modern day Resident Evil game. It's a weird tonal shift that almost took me out of it, but not enough. I still was interested in what was going on. But I think that game would have been a lot more effective had they kept that horror element all the way through. The game was terrifying, man. I'm playing it in the living room, not in VR, and I'm still, like, super tense by this atmosphere that's being created, this unknown, these new areas that you're going to explore. It really gripped me, and it really kind of pissed me off that they did that.
Right. Kind of took you out of it.
It did. And it it does not by any means take away from the fact that this is an excellent game, and if you haven't played it, you definitely should, especially if you're a fan of horror games. It's really, really good. another bad thing. I'm not a big fan of the kind of throwaway enemy characters that they have. I loved the fact that you were fighting these different family members and they were like a constant stalkish type. They know you're there and they're stalking you type things. Like each one has different characteristics and their areas of the house symbolize their kind of crazed beings. Like you got the dad who is just a crazy dude and he's following you around, stalking you, scaring the shit out of you. You got the mom who does the same type of thing.
Do they ever attack?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you fight all of them. You got the brother who's like big time into like puzzles and torture and stuff like that. So he creates this like puzzle room that you have to kind of explore and get through. It's so freaking cool and exciting, and it's cool to see these different personality traits reflect in the environment and level design. Up to the point when you get to the point where you're past all of that, and then there's nothing else to look forward to.
Is it
It's
another
just weird.
stereotypical, like, it's dark, you see by your flashlight?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Type of thing.
it is one of those, but it's not. It's not I don't like games where you have to run and hide a lot, and horror games like that are unappealing to me. I like to be able to defend myself. This game does a good job of letting you defend yourself.
Giving you that balance.
Yeah,
That's cool.
but it goes from being really, really well balanced in the beginning portions when you're in a house to being completely unbalanced when you've got way more ammo than you know what to do with. But you also have way more enemies to deal with as well.
Right.
But the enemies, what I was getting to with the standard throwaway enemies that you shoot and kill, they're kind of these blob looking fungus humanoid looking things, and there's absolutely nothing interesting about
what's the
them.
function of them? Why are they there?
So I would be giving away story spoilers.
I was actually about to say I don't actually care as much as that question denoted I do.
There is a reason why they're there, and it goes huge into spoiler territory, and it makes sense why they're there. But I wish it would have been more interesting to me if they were just like standard zombies, from
Right.
Resident Evil universe, or nothing at all. That game could have been just as creepy and just as fun if it didn't have regular enemies to fight. If all you had to worry about were the family members, that would have been enough
Yeah.
for me.
I agree. Like make those physical encounters few and far between.
Yeah.
Just build to them.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I think it's a wonderful game. I think that people could take cues from this game and possibly create something along the same lines as the way the game starts. But I absolutely recommend it for anybody if you haven't checked it out. But that leads us into the next topic. The whole reason I even got into this game is because of this list. So
Wait, was that on your list?
It was. It was on my list. So we were going to do this list last time we recorded, but we didn't get a chance to get to it. So I went ahead and knocked out one of my games on my list to talk about in this show.
Yeah.
So it's no longer on my list.
So now you only have 5 because the rule was 5. So of course you brought fucking 6 or 7.
Actually, let's start with our honorable mentions. Go ahead and tell yours first.
Start with the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually going to call you're gonna hate me for this. I'm gonna call God of War my honorable mention.
Because it's recent.
Because it's so
Yeah.
recent, and I had so much going on around the time I was trying to play it that I didn't have time to really fall in love with it.
Yeah.
I want to go back and revisit it and play it again and give myself the opportunity to really, really fall in love with it.
It's a game that needs your full attention.
Exactly.
And if you can't give it that, then yeah.
And the other games on my list are games that got my full attention and I got pulled away from. So
I agree. That is basically what my list is.
There's my
as well.
honorable mention. What's yours?
Okay, so my honorable mention is all those damn RPGs that I start and don't finish. JRPGs. So I've got like Lunar, the Silver Star story. I played through that and got a good ways through it. I'd say like about 20 hours through it. And something newer came out and I started playing it and I dropped off and I just haven't gone back to it. That was a really fun game and I was enjoying the hell
You've talked
out of it.
about Dragon Quest 7 and Persona 5 a few times too.
And Dragon Quest 8, Persona 5, Suikoden 2,
Earthbound.
Suikoden 2 and Earthbound, I've been playing off and on for the past like 2 years. I'll pick it up and play a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Soul Blazer is another one I've been going through. The dot hack.
That's actually the jacket you wear when you go to a funk concert.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, it's your soul.
Oh, okay.
It's your soul blazer.
But yeah, all those damn RPGs. Those are my honorable mentions. So what is your number 5?
Number 5. Fallout 4.
Yes. Fallout 4, I agree. It is actually on my list as well.
Okay. And you know my love of Bethesda properties, especially
You say that every episode.
you know my
You
love.
know my love of Bethesda.
I love Bethesda. What can I say? So Fallout 4 is only so low on the list because of the games on the list. I think I spent the most time playing Fallout 4.
Yeah.
So I did have time to fall in love with it. I had time to accomplish a lot of stuff on it. But then I never actually just finished it.
Yeah.
You know? And I would love to go back and actually
Do you have a reason why you never finished it?
that was just one that I was really, really into and got pulled away from. You know, it was like there was like one day I didn't have time to play it, and then it was a week I didn't have time to play it, and then like a month I didn't have time, and then next thing I know, it's been a couple of years and I haven't picked it back up.
So honestly, your story is similar to mine. Fallout 4 is also on my list. I'll call it my number 5. It is the same situation. The thing is I never really got invested in that game. I think that I had already sunk so much time into Fallout 3. Literally, dude, I played that game to death.
Well, Fallout 3 was the jam, dude. So was New Vegas.
I didn't see enough different about Fallout 4 to make me want to invest my time into it again. And I think that's why I fell off. But
a lot of people fell off of it because of that.
Well, since I've fallen off, I've also have the I've always wanted to go back and see more of the world, but the thing is I wasn't seeing enough differences between Fallout 3. Fallout 3 was unique in that it was all new to me. Fallout 4 seems like more of the same. So it's just, I don't know. At this point, I may not just go back to it and wait for 76 to come out. Because with 76, the whole online thing, that is enough to keep me going.
It'll scratch that itch, dude.
Yeah.
My number 4 is, I'm going to call that Mario 64 / Mario Sunshine.
So you never beat these games?
I never beat either of them.
Okay.
Mario 64, I came so close to beating when it came out, like when I was a kid, and never. It was another one of those things. Like probably something new came out, and I stopped playing it as much. And I still have my old save file on my original N64 from Mario 64.
That's impressive.
It's just I've never gone back and finished it.
Yeah.
And I would love to. Mario Sunshine, you know, from a few episodes back, I recently started. Like, I think in 2018, I started it for the first time. And
I love that game. That is actually, that is probably my favorite in the series.
Yeah. I played it hard for a few weeks and then put it down and haven't picked it back up. And I want to go back and finish it because it has, you know, a compelling story, very interesting gameplay mechanic. You know, it's just a cool little game.
Yeah.
And I'd like to go back and finish it.
My number 4 is going to be Resident Evil 6. Now, I went back and finished Resident Evil 7, and that's put me... Actually, Resident Evil 2 Remake has put me in a huge Resident Evil mood here as of late.
Right.
And I want to go back and finish Resident Evil 6. For whatever reason, that game got horrible reviews when it came out. It was still gearing towards the more action-oriented side of things. And I think I really kind of played into that. And I just kind of lost interest in it. I purchased the game and I got about, I don't know, I didn't get very far into it. And I was like, it wasn't scratching that Resident Evil itch, that retro Resident Evil itch that I wanted it to. And I was just turned off by the game. But at the same time, I felt like it was still a kind of a cinematic, cool experience that I always wanted to go back to. And now after finishing 7, I think I will go back to it.
Cool.
So
I've never really gotten into one of those, to Resident Evil.
You're not really big into horror games, though.
I'm just not. They just don't do anything for me.
Oh man, I love them. I absolutely love them. That's one of my big collection. You know, I collect JRPGs and horror games. Those are my two genres. You know, all because of Resident Evil. The original Resident Evil is why I love horror games today. So,
number 3,
what you got?
I'm gonna go with Wolfenstein 2.
Okay,
on number 3.
Because of my hype train about it last time.
Man, I guess
it's such a good game, man. It really is.
It's such a good game. And whenever I borrowed it from you back in November?
Yeah.
And I played a lot of that game. And once again, it got shelved because I got too busy. Generally speaking, I'll like have like a phase where I have time to play and then I won't play a game for months. You know, like it'll just get shelved one day and then I won't I don't think I've charged my Switch in 2 months.
Shit, man, I play my Switch every night. I love that system.
I mean, I don't think I've played a video game, period, in 2 months. Well,
It's
I lie. I hooked up the original Xbox and I've been playing Ultimate Spider-Man with Fat Big this week
that's a good one.
and The Hobbit. And I just got my hands on Wind Waker.
There you
So
go.
I'm about to play that. It's going to jump
That's
the
on
line.
the GameCube.
Yeah, it's going to jump the line of all these other games that I need to pick back up because I've never played Wind Waker.
Well, I have a comment on that, and the thing is, I think there's a few different types of gamers, but there's a more kind of gamer who loves gaming and consuming the media, but they don't necessarily have time or make time to play the games as often. And I think there's a lot of people like that. A lot of my friends are like
If
that.
we're being honest, I think I'm more of a culture-oriented gamer,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I keep up with the culture of it. I just don't play a whole lot.
I would be what you would call, like, I guess, a hardcore gamer.
Whenever I talk to people about our balance on the show, I refer to you as the core gamer
Yeah.
of the two of us. That this game is actually you talking about games and me doing my best to just fucking distract you for an hour and a half.
Well, the thing is I love video games. I love the art, the style, the music. I love everything about games, but I also love to play them just as much. So I will generally play a video game a day if I can. And that's why I love the Switch, because I can usually do it when I'm trying to fall asleep, because I don't have a heck of a lot of time, just like you or anybody else, you know? So I will get my game time in when I can. And that's usually when I'm
Exactly.
winding down to go to bed. And the thing is I love to play games. If you gave me the option of watching a movie or playing a video game, I will choose a video game every time. It's just that's just how I am. I love to play games. I love to consume myself with it. It's just, I don't know. That's just a different style of gamer.
Yeah.
The thing that's funny is, like, I don't know I don't know anybody else like me, and I know they're out there. I know there's plenty of them out
Oh
there.
yeah, I know other people like you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't. It's weird.
I'll
Like,
never introduce you guys. You ever watched Highlander?
I love Highlander.
It'll be
man.
like that.
We mean.
You guys would one of you
One
kill
of
the other
kill-
and
yeah.
steal your gaming powers.
Okay, I can
Yeah.
get with that.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Rule of Rose, man. Rule of Rose, if you remember from last year, I started that in Halloween. I didn't get into. Okay, I love the style of Rule of Rose. I love the story, the characters. I love what's going on. I don't love the gameplay. The gameplay kills it for me. But the thing is ever since I stopped playing that game, I have wanted to go back. And I stopped playing because of one particular boss that I cannot beat.
And that was
feel
your
like
wife telling you to stop playing.
She
Boom!
she was actually little.
I know she was.
She wanted me to finish it. She was into it more than
It was,
I was.
it was a good
It's because
joke.
she wasn't playing it. She was just watching it.
Fuck me again.
So I want to.
It's a very self-deprecating episode for me.
Sounds like it. I'm thinking this Halloween. I think I'm going, or this October, I'm gonna start streaming it again and try to finally finish the game. But yeah, I want to go back to the game. I will go back to the game. Not hugely looking forward to it, but it'll happen.
Number 2, Breath of the Wild. Do we even need to talk about Breath of the Wild?
No.
Skip it. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Skyward Sword. We're on the Zelda kick right
We're
now.
on a Zelda kick. Why
Um,
not?
Skyward Sword it came out on the Wii, and I purchased it when it came out, but I couldn't get into the flight mechanics of the game. Like, it didn't seem open enough to me, and the flying thing just it turned me off. I love the art style, and
I didn't know you fly in Skyward Sword.
yeah, dude, like that. You start off on an island in the sky, and the very first thing to do to get off that island is you have to fly on top of one of the birds or something like that.
Oh, I thought you were saying like Link actually flew.
No.
I don't know much about that game. I know that it's
Here's another thing that killed it for me. The Wii U, I mean, not the Wii U, the Wii controls.
and that's why I'll never play it until they port it to Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I didn't like the Wii controls then. I'm gonna be playing Wind Waker on the Wii with GameCube controllers.
Yeah.
Which I was reading about Wind Waker, and it was it was pretty close to being a flop commercially when it came out,
Oh, I love
and
that game.
is now considered arguably one of the best video games ever made.
I won't go that far, but it is one of my favorite
You
Zelda
will
games
either
ever
go
made.
that far or say you don't like it. There's no gray area. Adrian.
Dude, I love Wind Waker.
Is it arguably one of the best games ever made?
No.
Fuck, dude, come on. Get on my... Is it?
No.
I told you no gray area. You can't...
It's not.
Number 1, for me, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Actually, that is my number 1 as well. Boom.
That's a wrap.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Why did you stop playing that game?
I got a Switch, and I got Breath of the Wild.
Exactly. And I think that's the same reason most people stop playing that game.
And that game is seeing a massive resurgence right now.
Is it?
A little over a year later. Well, it came out, what, a year and a half ago at this point? It came out about 6 months before the Switch.
Yeah.
Before Breath of the Wild. It's seeing a big resurgence right now of people that started playing it and really loved it, and then picked up Breath of the Wild, and they were like, tucked in Aloy and her adventures, kissed her on the forehead, said, night, be back in 5 minutes, and then never came back. And now Aloy is living her life without this parental figure that just stepped away for 5 minutes and never came back. It's that classic stepped out for cigarettes story. It really is.
Okay.
So, yeah, the game's making a comeback, especially with all the DLC and everything that came out for the past year and a half.
And they also cut the price on it. Like, you can
They did, and it's a bigger game, a more fully realized game, and it's had patches and updates to it, so it's a better playing game now too, even though it was great to begin with.
I really enjoyed what little bit I played, but now that I'm finally in the mode to not have to play Breath of the Wild, I'm totally ready to get back into that game. But the thing is
are you going to get back where you left off, or are you going to start it over?
I think I want to start over. I don't remember the controls, and that's one of those games where you kind of need to know the controls.
Right. I'm going to start it over as well. We should start it over at the same time and chronicle your progress versus my lack of progress.
Dude, I'm game. We need to do it soon because Spider-Man and Dragon Quest 11.
I'm going to get to the exact same place in it and put her to bed again. And then walk away. Yeah, Daddy came home. Daddy left again.
Dude, that was a great list. What are you drinking?
We are drinking Omission.
We are drinking Omission. I'm sorry that we're drinking Omission.
The ultimate light golden ale. You keep apologizing. I bought it.
You bought it because
I dote on you.
I've been staying away from gluten. I've been having weird reactions to beer lately, and I don't know why.
I'm not old school gluten boy.
Yeah, it's a good beer, man.
It's a good beer. It is a gluten-free beer. It's easy drinking, smooth.
Yeah.
It's only got 5 carbs and 99 calories, so if you're watching your gluten or your waistline, it's good. But I mean it tastes like a light beer.
I've been consuming
a light ale.
I've been consuming gluten-free beers as of late. I must say a gluten-free beer is still a good beer. There you go.
This one, it's relatively balanced. It's got couple different malts in it, some pale malts and caramel malts, just pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
It's got a very low hop to it, very low IBU, which is super technical beer stuff that I'm not going to start rifling off going into the ABV and the IBUs and all that. It's relatively strong. It's a 4.8. It's just higher than what you could buy at a gas station. Got 3 different hop varieties in it. 3 actually that I hadn't heard of: Millennium, Citra, and Galaxy. I hadn't heard of any of those hops before.
Me neither.
So jumping out of the mainstream a little on the hop game, which is pretty cool. And it does have a pretty signature flavor. I feel like if you gave me a lineup of light, relatively malty ales, I could probably pick this one out.
I'm not generally a fan of light beers, but I do like it.
No, it's a good beer, and they're easy to drink.
Hey, and it's giving me what I like about a beer, which is a little bit of a buzz.
Yeah. I'm proud to say that you're enjoying it. When I picked it up at the store, I was like, "Hey, can you point me towards your gluten-free beers?" And the girl goes, I think Google can." I said, "Do you not have a gluten-free section?" And she goes, "No." And I just started this job.
Okay, so I wouldn't be going there again.
Hey, where can they find us?
Well, we are on the internet at www.jabgcast.com. That's JABGCAST.com.
Hey, are we on Spotify now?
We are on Spotify.
We're on Spotify now.
Okay, funny story about that. I applied to be on Spotify 4 months ago, and we are just now on there.
I bet they cleared it
long.
4 months ago, and then they were going through emails and they're like, yep. Congratulations.
I just found it funny. That was one of the longest approval processes I've ever been through, but we are there now. So find us on Spotify. Also, we're on social medias. We're on the Instagrams. We're live streaming right now on Instagram.
We're on the tweet box.
The Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on the Facebook as well, you know.
Yeah.
All the normal spots.
We're going to start a Tumblr account for pictures of us not wearing shirts.
I will not be starting a Tumblr account. Episode 31 is a wrap, Ryan.
Adios.
See y'all later.